Welcome back to In the Culture. I'm Samit.
I'm Jordan.
And we got one of the dopest people with us today. We got Behzad Dabu. I said that wrong. I'm so
sorry. Perfect. Actually, that was really good.
Right, that's what's up.
That was really good. That was actually perfect. Yeah.
That's what's up. You might have seen him on How to Get Away with Murder, or you might have seen him on The Shy, which is one of my favorites right now. Shy is dope as hell.
Shy is dope. Yeah.
It's pretty tight.
Play a sneakerhead on it.
Yeah, it's tight.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that role change? Like you go from How to Get Away with Murder being a little like a lawyer, like an immigrant lawyer in that show, right?
Yeah.
And then
well what's interesting is like How to Get Away with Murder was already a set show. So when I came in, I had to like come into their world and sort of just like do what was on the page. But The Shy was a brand new show, so the characters were brand new, so they were a little more open to you kind of creating the show with them.
Which is so like the development and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get too much say in it, but like they knew I was in sneakers, so all of a sudden I came in. They knew how I spoke. They were like watching and look, because the characters are being created, so you have a little more leeway in a new show.
That's tight. Yeah. You play Amir on Shy, right?
Amir on The Shy, yeah.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah. Season 2 is coming out too in a couple months. Season 2 is coming out too in a couple months.
Check it out on Showtime. Showtime?
Yeah. Showtime.
Yeah, that's what's up. I like that, the form of that show, because I feel like it's so, I don't know, just OG, bro. Like you don't really, there's structure to the show definitely, but like just the way they talk about south side of Chicago and like all that, and the mix, I thought it was so cool.
I think people always, like, especially with Trump talking, like, south side of Chicago is like violence, guns, murder, violence, guns, murder. And I think what this show shows is like, yeah, there's some violence, but these people also have joy. Right. And there's also barbecues, and there's also like sex, and there's also like good things and fun things that we don't hear about in the media. People ask me like, when you get to Chicago, like, so you get shot at?
It's like, hey, that's what I was gonna say. No
like you land at O'Hare and there's bullets flying. It's not like that. It's just not like that. Like
it's such a weird depiction they have, bro. Like it sucks. You know, I just kind of hear it because I know a couple of people from Chicago, and it's not like that at all. Yeah.
What it is that there are certain neighborhoods that have been purposely by our government sent into a situation where gang violence is the only way to be. Right. And then when people on the outside want to say, well, why do they join the gang? No, you have to join the gang. That is it. You are in the gang. And then gang violence is now no longer, like Kanye said before he was crazy, it's no longer repping your hood. You're now repping your avenue. So if you live on 63rd and you got to go to 67th, you got to cross 65th. And when you cross 65th, you're going to the wrong gang. So you're going to get shot. And then there's gonna be retaliation, and that's just kind of like what's being perpetuated, and that's not their fault. It's just what it is.
That's crazy.
Damn. So you got into acting. What made you decide to take that path?
I was always a storyteller. I was like, so I was one of those people who'd be like, so let me tell you what happened. But then I would like, you know, be all the different people. Then I'd be all the different people. And I remember one time I went on a big lie, and I got caught. I went on a massive lie, and I had to tell all these other people the story. So I was riding my bike to my friend's house, and the chain got popped, just riding it. And when I got there, I'd like walk it. They're like, "What happened to your bike?" And I was like, "I got robbed, man." And these people, they pushed me down, and slowly this story was terrible. Like, so they just like unpopped your chain and then didn't take your bike. I was like, "Oh, well, I mean, because I grabbed it." And like, so there were lots of them, and you grabbed it and ran away. And so all of a sudden, I was like, that was the day. I remember I got so much trouble. Everybody was so mad at me, so much yelling. I was such a kid. I was so formidable that I was like, oh, I can tell stories without having to lie.
Right.
And that's when I was like, I really started getting into acting.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah, I was like, I want to lie. I can go do it on stage.
Right.
Cool. And then you said you went to Syracuse too.
I grew up in Syracuse. And so I grew up in Syracuse, and I was there throughout that championship game we were just talking about, 2003. I was good friends with a dude named Andy Routins, who played for Syracuse for a while after. But you know, I like had a really good time in Syracuse. Like I had a good high school experience. I had a good time, but I wouldn't want to live there now.
It's not like super like nice or anything, right? Syracuse is kind of just like one of those little suburban urban hoods.
Syracuse used to be dope. In the 50s, used to be dope. They used to have a basketball team, Syracuse Nationals. They won the championship.
Saying the 50s?
Yeah, in the 50s, it used to be dope.
Damn, go back.
And then like there was lots of cities in America used to be dope in the 50s. St. Louis and Detroit, and Syracuse and Rochester and Albany. All these used to be awesome, and they were all on this canal called the Erie Canal. And then they filled up the canal, put a highway through it, and they just became a throughway town. All those cities died. Lost their sports teams, lost everything.
That's so sad to think about. Like if you think about it, that's so much like the like interglobalization that kind of plays a factor in it.
And way back in the day, St. Louis was supposed to be like the main city in the Midwest. It was supposed to be like St. Louis was going to be like the city. And then, I don't know the politics of it, but St. Louis was like boom, and Chicago went boom.
Right.
So,
That's St. Louis. I feel like it's still kind of big. Like they have a lot of people come out of there
Yeah.
from like whether it's entertainment or like the NBA. Like Jason Tatum's from St. Louis over there, and like a bunch of those dudes. So like, it's kind of tight.
Football team.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, they got, I mean, yeah.
That's great. Talking about the Shy, like Viola Davis. Like we got to talk about Viola Davis. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's so dope that you're working with her.
She's the best.
I feel like she'd be just as cool as she like comes off as.
She's cool in a very different way. Like, How to Get Away with Murder, like, I wanted to do it right away just because of Viola. I would have done it for free just to work with her, you know, just to like get that master's education from her. And we've actually worked a lot of the same theaters, just at vastly different times. She worked with the guy I know, she worked at the Goodman, I worked at the Goodman, she worked at Center Theater Group, I worked at Center Theater Group. So like, I knew we would have some of the same like training and like understanding about the art, and I knew that from just reading about her. But then I was on set like learning from her, and for me it was like, she had lessons. She had like, she would like preach lessons, and you'd be like, that's a lesson, I'm gonna take it, you know? Remember one time though, she said something that was so funny to me one time. She was like, I said something, I was like, when this happens or when this happens, how do you deal with it? And she goes, Behzad, I'm gonna tell you the two most important things I know. And I was like, okay.
Listen to this.
All right, here we go. And she goes, 1, you just gotta do the best that you can, because that's all you can do.
Yeah, facts.
And then she goes, and 2, and someone called out to her, and she was like, uh-huh. And then she like answered, and then she came back, and I was like, and what was 2? And she goes, I forgot.
Damn.
And I was like, no, you can't forget what the 2 is.
Crazy,
it's the most important thing you know. And I,
Cliffhanger.
so I said, I thought the most important thing you know, how you forget it. She goes, look, I'm doing the best I can.
That's great.
She's awesome, man. She's so awesome. Cool. She's like an inspiration for real.
That's how, are you still doing theater stuff now?
I try. LA is not the best theater town. People are gonna get mad that I say that, but it's true. It's not the best theater town. I want to go back to Chicago and do some theater. I just have to do that it has to be the right time, the right role, the right thing. I'm a company member at a theater company in Chicago called Timeline. So I would love to go back and do a show at Timeline. I've done a lot of shows at a place called the Goodman. I'd love to go back and do a show there. LA, I've done a little bit of theater here, and I'm doing some sketch comedy here, but it's not the best theater town.
Interesting.
People always get mad when I say that, but then I'm like, fight me about it, at me. Like, at me, I have defenses for that. At me.
I think about it from like a Portland standpoint, like I think there's probably a couple improv groups down there, but like it's definitely not.
You have
like,
Portland Center Stage is your big theater.
Right.
Yeah.
But then I think about like when we came here and like Carl was like, oh, like there's this improv show going on. And like,
improv.
That's what I'm saying, like the UCB stuff going on down here.
But those people aren't making a living.
They're not making a living, yeah.
So those people that's the thing about LA, they don't value the stage work enough to pay their artists a living wage, whereas in Chicago and Minneapolis and DC and New York, they do. You do a show in Chicago and you're gonna make not a lot of money, but you're gonna make a couple $1,000s a week. You're gonna get health insurance, you're gonna get dental insurance, you're gonna get pension, you're gonna get breaks, you're gonna get all that. It's a full-fledged job. Yeah. And you come here in LA and you see the same people working just as hard, and they're gonna, after the end of 6 weeks, they'll throw you a Chipotle card and $50.
That's trash.
And you're like, and that's the kind of thing. So it's like, oh, I'm not gonna do that type of theater because I'm not gonna get taken advantage of. So then it's like, well, then what is there? There's a few theaters for us that pay a living wage in LA, a few. But for the second largest city in the country, that's crazy.
That's terrible,
yeah.
And it's so important because I feel like stage work, like I didn't know much about it until like we started talking to Carl about it. Shout out Carl Tart. But like just thinking about the improv side, and I feel like theater is so important. And it's such a different avenue because like people, as a comedian, you either take the stand-up route or you take the improv route.
Totally.
It's different,
yeah. But
you guys know in Oregon, you guys have one of the best theaters in the country. It's called Oregon Shakespeare Festival, OSF. It's in Ashland, Oregon.
Never heard of that.
It's in Ashland, Oregon, and it's an actor's dream job. So a lot of actors that during regional theater, they try to get that OSF job. It's a 10-month gig. You work from like February to November. And then you live there, they got these cabins for the actors, it's great, and you do what they call shows and reps. So you learn a bunch of shows, you have like a big role in one show, and you have like a smaller role in another show, and you alternate that. So you'll do that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You got your big role, small role, big role, small role. And then you do that for like 2 months. Then the next 2 months you do it again. While you're doing those 2 shows, you're rehearsing the next 2 shows. They pay you really well. They house you really well. It's some of the best actors in the country, and it's in Ashland, Oregon, called OSF, Oregon Shakespeare Festival. Literally one of the best theaters in the country, if not the world.
Crazy.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
We knew this, Jordan. We knew this.
I got it. I wanted an offer for OSF for so long. For 8 years, I wanted my OSF offer. I finally got my OSF offer. I was so excited. I was about to go OSF. I was ready. I was prepping where I was gonna do, what I was gonna do in Ashland, all that kind of stuff. And then I got How to Get Away. So I had to.
Damn. You can't say no to that.
I was I gotta stay. So
that's dope, man.
Yeah.
That's tight. Yeah. What do you got coming down the pipeline? What's going on?
I'm doing this show called The Lion Guard on Disney. It's an animated show. So we all know The Lion King. Of course. But basically with the kids now, the kids don't know Lion King. They don't know Mufasa.
Yeah, they don't know.
They don't know. So they know The Lion Guard though. So The Lion Guard is Simba grows up. He has a kid. His kid is named Htgawm. And now Simba's like Mufasa, and Htgawm is like a little kid, Dad, I want to go over there. Dad, I want to go over there. And Simba's like, no, But they got hella dope friends, and I play a cheetah.
You wanna act it out a little bit?
I played the world's fastest cheetah. Yes. So I play a cheetah, and it's with Gabrielle Union and David Oyelowo.
Oh, that's crazy.
Common and Rob Lowe, and it's a really great cast. And the show's been airing for a couple seasons. I come on, I think in season 3, several episodes. I haven't seen it yet; it hasn't aired yet. But it's so much fun to be in that booth. And it'll be what I loved is that it's not just the lines. They'll then do a whole bunch of things called actions. So it'll be all right, in this scene, we want you to kind of they'll make it up. They'll be you're running real fast and you see a cliff coming and you don't know if you're gonna make it, but you gotta jump. So you jump, and then when you catch it, you kind of catch it, but you land on your 2 feet and you gotta get yourself back up, go. So then you're to get up there, and it's that shit is fun. That is so much fun. It is.
Yeah.
See, that you still got that improvisation kind of working,
Skills.
That's that. You worked with Common before, right?
Because he's
on The Shy. Yeah.
And also, but actually before that, I used to do this thing in Chicago with Columbia College Chicago. He went to Columbia for a semester. So we started this thing called the Common Foundation in Chicago, or maybe Common Ground? It's either Common Ground or Common Foundation. But one of those things he started, and it helps Southside of Chicago students. Okay, yeah. So I actually went and I worked for Columbia, and I went and gave a bunch of scholarships to their students. So I remember,
man.
He probably won't even remember this, but it was 12 years ago we met, maybe 10 years ago we met.
That is so tight.
Yeah.
He's always been one of my favorites. I feel like the change up from music to acting, and now he's a better actor than he was a musician, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think he's dope.
He's dope.
Yeah. He's so tight.
Common's dope.
That's so dope, bro.
Completely changing the subject. I know that you are a sneakerhead.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us your lineup of shoes for this week? So what shoes you wore this week?
I got those those bright yellow Air Force Ones with the tag on them, the off-whites, the zips on the back.
The Volts.
Yeah, I got those.
Okay, yeah.
I got the purple Gatorades.
Gatorade ones.
I got the turquoise Gatorades. I have these dope blue, like Carolina blue with dark blue on the bottom with a white Nike Air Max 90s. They're fucking dope.
I want to see what the shoes
Those are dope.
I can't even think of those.
They're Carolina blue with a white Nike sign and a dark blue on the bottom with the white midsole, and it's fucking dope.
I need to see what the shoes are.
Those are dope. And then I have a pair of they're just Nike free trainers X.
Yeah.
But they're the Super Bowl edition, so they're gold.
Okay, I know.
And the way that the Nike sign is made, I love it. There's no colors on it, but all the lines are going this way, and then the Nike sign's going this way. So the way you see the Nike sign is just kind of like a blur. Yeah. All the and then the Nike sign's so you just kind of see it hidden in there.
Oh, dude, that's dope.
They're the Super Bowl version. They all wore them in the Super Bowl 3 or 4 years ago, whenever those shoes came out.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that's his fucking week. That's just a week lineup.
That's a week lineup. I know the Gatorade pack was a big pack. I met the designer for those too, and she had the Jordan Gatorade backpack and stuff just coming in, looking at all the ones, and I was like, you know what you should have made? The Glacier Cherry. You know the Glacier Cherry Gatorade?
The white one?
Yeah, do something like that, but then where the Nike tab is, put some red in there or something, and then red Nike the Gatorade on the bottom. I was telling her about that. She was like, oh, that's a good.
So with my purple Gatorades, should I put because they come with the orange laces or the purple laces? So I think the orange laces might be too much, a little clowny.
Yeah, they don't have the white ones?
And white laces.
Yeah. The white laces are fire with them.
White laces are. I didn't even think about it.
Because they're not too crazy.
I don't know if I got the white laces with them. I might have to just
the purple
pull white laces out.
Yeah.
Purple, but then they also have the Gatorade tag on them. I wonder if I should keep the Gatorade little dog chain on them.
Yeah, it's hard with those because it's just all purple.
Yeah.
Like, when do you wear purple a lot? Are you a purple man?
Nah, but like I'll fucking wear color, man.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of color.
Can't tell today, but you
can't tell today. You can't today, but I'm not afraid of color.
Talking about...
Yeah, you're right. You can't tell today. Damn, I don't normally dress like this.
No,
it's audition day for Behzad, yo.
I'm very casual. Well, this is early, man. This is earlier than I'm normally up.
This is earlier than we ever
I got these in Singapore. What I love about these is that little red tint right there.
That's tight, man.
Gives it a little
red bottom
look. Hella comfortable. Yeah, my Louboutins.
that Singapore off-brand.
Man.
That's great. You got any final thoughts for our viewers, my man?
Final thoughts?
Something to tell these people?
Any advice?
Yeah, the world's a shithole, and I think that if you are out there actively, this is what's really bothering me right now. If you're actively out there being like, oh, it's both sides, or both sides are equally to blame, or like, oh man, both sides need to calm down. Shut up.
Shut up.
One side is actively Nazis killing people, and one side is just rushing people out of restaurants. So it's not the same, it's not both sides. If you're a moderate, pick a side. If you're a moderate, the problem is that you don't have enough information yet. So get more information and pick a side, because honestly, you're not helping anybody. That's my new thing. That's my thing.
The polls are gonna be done by the time we air this, but go vote, be a voter, make your voice heard, and that's it, y'all. I want to appreciate Behzad for coming on today.
What you're at? You want to say you're at for the
at BEHZADDABU is my name, and then for Instagram and Twitter, same thing, BEHZADDABU, and my website, BehzadDabu.com.
Boom.
That's what's up.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in the culture.
We out.